much. Hello everyone, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for joining, and today we'll be talking about metrics that matter and measuring high-performance teams. But before we dive in, I would like to acknowledge our sponsors who managed to organize this event so well and with the support of the crew in here, and it made it affordable and well organized, so thank you very much for your support. A little bit about myself. I had a chance and great opportunities to work at great companies like MYOB, Sportsbet Zero, Redbubble, and Education Horizons, which are all high-performing and successful organizations, and they definitely helped for me to see what good looks like, to shape my experience and also to contribute to the success. Apart from work, I'm a parent. I love to have active lifestyle and to travel, and I hope that my curiosity and adventures lifestyle and experience will help to share my vision and my experience with you. In terms of high-performance teams, these are usually defined as a group of individuals who have the same vision, goals, metrics, and who collaborate well together, challenge each other, and they hold each other accountable for achieving outstanding results. But why do we matter? Why do we care about high-performance teams? Is because organizations can succeed and achieve much better outcomes when the teams are doing well, when the teams are delivering value, and it can get organizations to know that they have return on investment on having those employees and that they're doing well. We know anecdotally, intuitively, that that's what we need to target. But actually there was a research done back in 2014 by State of DevOps report, and they found the connection in between software delivery performance and organizational performance, and they found that publicly traded companies who had high-performing IT teams had 50% higher market capitalization growth compared to low-performing teams within their research of 3 years. And that research has continued, and the reports were published since then every year, and it still stays the same. And they identified 4 key indicators, which are usually referred as DORA metrics, and then they were published in the Accelerate book in 2018, and they are widely used across different organizations. So change lead time, deployment frequency, change fail rate, and failed deployment recovery time. By the way, the last one was changed from mean time to restore to failed deployment recovery time to actually give a little bit more insights into how teams were doing and what they were struggling with. So as of this year, as of 2024, 39,000 organizations globally were surveyed, and they identified these key performance indicators correlate strongly with high-performing software delivery teams and operational performance. Usually, organizations start measuring deployment frequency and change failure rate because they are the easiest to get, but the more mature organizations are, the more they continue to the other metrics. But is it just about DevOps metrics? And obviously, the answer is no, and there are so many other factors that come into play in here. So in 2021, researchers from GitHub, Microsoft, and University of Victoria created this SPACE framework, and it stands for satisfaction, well-being, performance, activity, communication and collaboration, and efficiency and flow. And it was mainly focused on developer productivity and well-being. And this combines both quantitative and qualitative metrics, and qualitative measures from this framework are subjective assessments, which are usually collected through surveys or interviews, like feedback from employees, and these are satisfaction and well-being and communication and collaboration category, which usually questions are asked: how satisfied are you working on the team? How satisfied are you with getting being on the team, or communication within the team, or how often do you get one-on-ones with your manager? And just it helps to understand how happy employees are from well-being and communication, collaboration perspective. And then quantitative measures are more objective metrics. And so, for example, for performance, you can look at deployment frequency for the teams, or for activity levels, you can look at number of commits, a number of pull requests the teams are doing, and they can show dynamics and how teams are contributing. And for efficiency and flow metrics, usually teams are looking at cycle time or lead time. And mind you that these quantitative metrics are not necessarily gathered through systems or tools like Jira or GitHub or any other tools, but they can also be measured by self-reported surveys, and teams can just report how many deployments they have done, for example, because it's much faster and easier to collect the data. And then on the back of SPACE framework, DevX framework was published later that year, and it dig deeper into what it is that what experience developers are having on the teams, and it looked into main categories such as feedback loops in terms of how satisfied developers are with speed and quality of responses relative to whatever code development, or raising their decisions, like making some decisions on the go. So satisfaction with time to validate something, or time to make a change to production, deployment lead time. These are all metrics that are measured within feedback loops. In terms of cognitive load, it's the amount of mental processing that engineers need to go through to perform a task, or to get to the outcome. And these are perceived complexities of the code base, or how difficult it is to get answers from somewhere. And the flow state, it's similar to being in the zone and ability to focus on things. And they can be these perceived abilities to focus, or how many interruptions you have, or how many unplanned tasks are coming up within the day or the week, what are the frequency of incidents. So it also gives then an understanding of what the teams are going through. How all of this stacking up together? So SPACE is the framework that helps to see the holistic view of developer productivity and well-being, and DORA is more DevOps measures for software delivery performance, is like subset of the SPACE, and DevX is specific practical applications of both, of SPACE and DORA, and they help with understanding how to implement all of those measures and to go about it. So they're not self-exclusive, they add to each other, and usually organizations look through all of them and try to get to what matters to them. As you might see, that measuring productivity is hard. There is no single answer to what it is that you need to measure, but some well-known organizations like Stripe, McKinsey, and Gartner have done lots of research and analysis and studies, and they revealed that 78% of different organizations of different sizes, they either already have DevX experience initiatives in their practices, or they have planned for them. So all of the organizations recognizing that DevX is very important, and they need to look at broader pictures. What if you don't have any metrics, and you probably will not improve or reflect as efficiently if you don't have any of them. So the recommendation is definitely to go ahead and to start measuring at least some of them. So that's where I want to talk a little bit about specific implementation details and common pitfalls that teams are going through. So if teams are setting metrics as target, it can create some dysfunctions in terms of teams wanted just to hit the measure or just to get to the measure rather than to look at the overall performance of the team. So, and it was described in 1975 as Goodhart's law. When a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. So we need to be mindful of that it's not about the metric as a target itself, but the end goal where we want to get to. One metric to rule them all is not what's possible, unfortunately. There is no one single metric that will give you the answer about everything or how well your team is performing. You can do well in one thing, but then you will not see the same results in other areas. So even though it would be much easier if we can measure just one thing, but fortunately or unfortunately, we need to look at the broader picture. Siloed ownership is also something that we need to sway away from, because if just one group of people is interested and owns a metric, and other people either on the team or outside of the team do not care about it at all or do not have buy-in into this, they can then quickly derail the focus from this and will not help on the journey to get to the outcome that you want. Competing against other teams or comparing other teams is also something that may happen, but we should always remember that teams have different background, different seniority of the team, different tech stack potentially, and domains can be different. So they are on different development level and their journey. So rather than comparing different teams, compare team to itself and to see its progress. It will give much more ownership and sense of achievement in the end. Measuring at the expense of improvement, again, is something that we should sway away from, because we are doing measuring to improve things and not just for the purpose of measuring. Where to start? It's good to understand where you're starting from and to get some baseline, because then after you move forward, it's good to compare your progress and see the progression of what has been achieved. So usually it's really hard to get these insights from systems or tools, because it requires lots of time to implement something. So self-reported baseline is perfectly okay. Don't be scared of that, and it's totally fine. You can just say how many deployments you're doing, or you can run a quick survey for your team to get their perception of things. Start small. You do not need to run 100 million metrics straight away, because you can get lost in the data. Select a few metrics that you think that will make the most significant impact. Look at the common issues that your organization is going through, and then you can decide what metrics to look into. Communicate transparently with your team and leaders on what you are trying to measure and how this data will be used, and then communicate progressively in terms of where you are getting. Some teams, if they don't know what this data will be used for, they can be scared to report it truthfully, then can gamify. They can gamify the data, and obviously we want to see the real picture and we want to know what exactly is happening. So having that transparency and alignment of expectations is very important here. are we measuring the right things? And that's a good question to ask, because we need to get that common understanding in terms of bringing the value with the measures. So ask for feedback from your team, from stakeholders, from leadership, whether what you're measuring is actually making sense and provides value. Also, review those measures regularly, again, with your team, with the leadership, so they can understand whether there were any things that stopped us from progressing, or whether we have actually achieved good outcomes and we need to celebrate those. And don't forget to cover both quantitative and qualitative metrics, because just quantitative metrics may not show the real picture on what's happening. So if the metric does not change your behavior or does not spark any action, that's a bad metric. And how to keep measuring? It's important to create routines or habits to collect the data, especially if it's self-reported, because you can easily forget about it. But having consistency in data points can be very helpful ongoingly. Also document findings for your team and for wider stakeholders. It's very helpful to have that point-in-time references. Communicate regularly with whatever is happening with good, bad, or how you're progressing, because it will help everyone to stay aligned and to understand the direction that we are moving into. And also review the value of what is being measured, because if we have been measuring something but it didn't spark any action, or it doesn't represent the true state of things, we may need to select other measures to ensure that they do bring value for us. And why these metrics matter is because they can give confidence to team members, to stakeholders, to leadership, and to customers as well, that we actually can deliver value consistently, that we know the cadence with what we will be delivering, and that we have it under control. It increases accountability for ourselves to do well and to actually progress with our good processes. So if the processes are not delivering good results, to see what can be changed. It can definitely bring data-driven input into whatever planning we are doing, either it's on team level or on company level, how many people we need or what initiatives we can tackle. So it helps with that understanding. It reduces the risk for something to happen that is unaccountable for. It helps with continuous improvement, and most importantly, it helps with building trust. So metrics are indicators for continuous improvement, and we should be looking at the progress over perfection, because with understanding where the current team's performance is, we can identify the way for the right direction on how to become a high-performing team and how to stay a high-performing team. So what metrics would you implement depending on the maturity of your organization? Please feel free to download slides and provide feedback on this QR code or the link. Thank you very much for being part of this talk, and enjoy the rest of the day.
Hands together.